In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to create a banner for your page and publish it in the HTML that you've created so far. And by that I mean within the HTML you've created so far. Although we could create a banner for your page out of just letters and words, we're going to create an image so that will identify your site as a good website. You know, just like I'm looking at this logo right here that somebody created using Photoshop probably, or something similar. They're displaying it using HTML code, although it was not created in HTML. I'm going to open, first of all, go back to my page, my GitHub account. I should be already signed in. I'll open up my repository, and I'm going to open another page that I created in a previous assignment. It's my index page. It should be inside of the repository. I'm at 1416. That's whatever your username is, .github.io. And you have all your weekly work, etc. We do have an index page, which is the beginning of your website. And by that I mean is that if you were to go, or if I were to go to that page, my username, .github.io, the index page is loaded automatically, and it shows me the information that I put in for that previous assignment. I'm opening it up in GitHub so that I can read the HTML code, and I can see that there's a title at the top of the page. I can see it on the tab, and it reads my name, design portfolio. I do have some meta tags, and then I have a header section, and I have an H1 that displays my name in large letters, and I have some paragraphs with some text, including some small text. That's this page, and so it's just a little blah page. I want to make it a little bit more exciting, maybe by adding an image. And what better way to use an image here with the name of my website? It says a lot here in the page, my name, web design portfolio, and although it's larger, it doesn't really catch the eye. It doesn't really make me too excited about the page, but we can make it a little bit better. There's multiple ways. We're gonna use an easy approach for this exercise. I provided a link to bannerfans.com. You can create an account, save banners here, etc. You don't have to, because you can just create them and save them. And that's what I'll be doing with the image once I create it. So there's a lot of information in this page, although it's not that difficult to follow. It's showing me what my banner would look like if it just said your banner's main title, and then a second line that says any text that you have here can be dragged around. That'll make sense, a little bit more sense in a little while. What I want you to see is that at the bottom there is this dashboard that shows you the layout. You can change the text in the fonts, add effects, change the border, do a little bit of formatting. But we're going to concentrate first in just making it say what we want it to say. There's no image yet, but we're getting to it. So looking at this banner, it's blue. It's a little bit darker blue at the top and lighter blue at the bottom. And what's going on is that there is a gradient that goes from that color to a lighter color below. You see here at the bottom, you can choose your gradient colors. You can choose your own favorite color. Just make sure that in the end it's readable. I can see that with the blue in the background, it plays nice with the white up in front, so they contrast. And I can change it to another color. I'll choose a darker green for the first color. The second color is going to be a lighter green. I'll pick this one here, and it gives me a dark green and a light green. I can scroll down a little bit and tell it to update my banner. So it still has the same text, your banner's main title, etc. But it's still readable, and although now it is green. I can also change the way that the gradient works. Right now it's vertical, so it goes from top to bottom. You could do it horizontally, it goes from the side to the other side. Update your banner to see what that looks like. And I don't really care for that, so I'll just go back to the vertical. I could also try a circle, I guess, and see what that does. That diamond sounds interesting. Let's see if I update my banner what happens. And it's just darker on the inside and it goes out to the outside. Actually, I kind of like this a little bit. So I'll keep this, whatever your favorite choice is. Like I said, just make sure that you can read the text. Now the text they're going to use, though, it's not going to be this one, your banner's main title. Please don't save and submit this with this title. It's not done yet. We already have text. It should be in your main page. If I go to my index, it tells me what I wanted to say at the top of the page, my web design portfolio. I'm going to right click on that. It's already selected. If you haven't done so, make sure that you select your text, highlight it, and then right click and copy. Press Ctrl C to copy too. Go back to the banner, and here in the text and fonts, you'll see what the lines say. Your banner's main title is the main text. I will press Ctrl V as in Victor to paste. And I don't want this random second line to be there. Any text that you have can be dragged around. Instead, I want to say something else like call us today for a free consultation. Maybe you have better text. You can type it up if you want. I'm going to copy that though, highlight everything here so that when I press Ctrl V, it's replaced. Call us today for a free consultation. I will update my banner, and I see now that the text has been changed, at least the content of it. Everything moved a little bit to the right because the second line that said you can drag it around, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just highlight, or rather hover on top of it until I can click and drag it. Now, although it has the text that I want to say, I don't really care for the way that it looks, and that's because the font is not very readable right now. It's a lot of words to be reading this. Maybe if it was just my name, that'd be one thing. But I'm going to change it to something else. On line 1 then, if I go to font face and I click on the arrow, I will then get a menu that shows me more options. I'm going to click on this cream puff. It's thick and maybe it'll be easier to read. And there it is. It's a little bit easier to read, and my name is long and all those words are long, but I can still fit it inside of the image if I drag it correctly. For my second line, I definitely don't want for a free consultation, especially since it's supposed to be a business. I don't want a frilly text like this. I want something a little more serious. So I'll click to see what's available, and I'm going to see what they have in the case of serif or sans serif. So serif could be like a Times. They don't have too many choices. Let's see stock. I think stock sounds more promising, and it does. Arial black italic. This looks like a more serious font. So I'll select that one and update my banner. And now I have a different font that it's easy to read, and it plays nice with the rest of the image, I think. I'm going to move my text around a little bit so it's a little bit better centered. And I think that I'm satisfied with the way that this looks, at least for now. There's also shadows and effects that you can play with. I'm not going to get too deep into this because the main objective of this lesson is to put the image in the text, in the web page. So I have the image. Now I'm going to be writing a little bit of code, copying and pasting actually, so that we can see the image in the web page to replace the verbiage that's already there. So I'll scroll down and find this button that says download banner. Click on it. I'm using a Chromebook, so I've already know that in my drive I can save files. I have a folder called iMed1416. I'll double click it and I have some images that I've used before. I will rename it so that instead of banner fans in whatever random number I end up with, this is going to be called my banner. And I'll call it MY uppercase BANNER. No spaces. Always very important not to use spaces when naming a file. I used a capital letter for the letter B. This is camel case, so the M doesn't need to be uppercase. None of them really need to be uppercase, but it makes it easier to read, distinguish that these are two words without using a space. I'll click on save, and it tells me that it's downloaded, and that's fine. I'll close that window, and I'm going to go then to my GitHub. I'm going to make sure to be inside of my directory where the file index.html is, the one that I opened previously. And here I'm going to upload the file that I just saved. So I will add a file and tell it to upload a file. I'll choose my file, and it takes me to my Google Drive. If you're using a PC and you're familiar with how to save things to your download folder, make sure that you just know where you did download it, that you can go and find it easy. If you have a Macintosh, same thing. With the Chromebook, it's a little bit tricky because you are limited to the Google tools. But I was able to find mybanner.jpg and tell it to open it. I will then scroll down, commit the changes, and wait for the file to be uploaded. One thing that I just want to remember as this is happening is the name of my file. It's my banner with a capital B and camel case. I can now go to index.html, click it to open it, and I'm going to edit, clicking on the pencil icon. So I know that this page is created by this code, and I just created a brand new image that I want to use to replace this text on here. So I have to go and find where this text is located. It should be inside of the header. There's a header right there, and now I have an H1, which is a tag to make the heading that is being displayed currently on the page. I'm going to give myself a little bit of space by clicking right next to the rightmost bracket after header. Press enter to go to the next line. I have included a couple of links in some of the assignments. This one is W3 School's image reference. I'm not using the book right now for this lesson, but W3 Schools is going to be a very resourceful, a very resourceful resource. It's a resourceful web page for you to go and consult about all things HTML. It's great for beginners, people that are in Web 1. And I linked it so that it goes directly into the image tag. It tells me what the image tag is and how to use it. Notice that there's just so many tags that you can learn and use. We only used a few of them. All the ones that you've already used by now, you're going to be able to find reference about them here. What I'm more interested in, though, is that it tells me right away what the image tag is. It's used to embed an image in an HTML page. That's what we're doing for this assignment. Also, the other thing that it tells you, or rather provides you, is sample code. If I click on this, try it yourself, it tells me, okay, well, if you have a very small page, which is what this is, this code on the left side, you already declared the doc type to be an HTML page. You open the HTML tag. They have an H1, which we won't be using, but you can see you can use them both. And then there's this image source that calls up the image of the girl. We can change the width, we can change the height. Be careful when you're changing width and height, because then you might end up with a skinny image. I'll change that to half the size, tell it to run the code, and now you see that although the image is wider, it's only displayed half its width. And you always want to display your images at 100%. What's good about W3 Schools is that, yes, it gives me the opportunity to test it, but it already typed all of this code for me. So I'm going to highlight it and right click and copy and bring it to my GitHub. I got the index page open, and then I can say, well, here in the header I have the H1 that has all the verbiage that I typed. I'm going to press Ctrl V as in Victor to paste, and it tells me that, well, you know, that cool code from the other page is going to try to use it. Now, when I saved my file, it was not called girl, it was called my banner. And so I go and change the name of the source used for this image. We have the image tag followed by the source. What do you want to open? And this will not be image of the girl, it's going to be my banner with the capital B. ALT is what alternative text you want this to say. Well, usually it describes what's going on in the picture. What's going on in my picture is that it says this. So I'm going to use this as the alternative text. In case the page, or rather the image, doesn't open, then at least they would tell me what the image was supposed to look like. So I'll go back to my code, and I have copied the text, press Ctrl V to paste, and it tells me that the alternative text is going to be my name, Web Design Portfolio. Now it says the width is 500 and the height is 600, and 500 across and 600 down, that's a tall rectangle. That's what the image of the girl looks like. My banner, when created, if I click on the layout, I picked the preset to be the leaderboard 728 across by 90 to go vertically. So 728 by 90 is going to be those are the numbers that belong here. 728 across, that's the width, and 90 is the height. So I have added the name of my file, how wide it is, how tall it is, and what the alternative text should be should the server fail me. Now I still have my H1 below, but unlike the image of the girl, I don't want the H1 to be there. So I'm going to highlight all of that, backspace it to delete it, and scroll down and commit these changes. Once the changes are committed, I can go back and look at my directory by clicking on the name of the repository. Scroll down a bit. I see that I still have my index page, which was just now updated. My banner was uploaded a little while ago, so it should already be there. And then I can go and see if my page has reflected any of the changes. I'll reload the page and wait if I need to. Do it again. And yes, here is my image that's been loaded. It goes across the width of the original image, the same thing with the height. And below I have the rest of the page as it existed. So I have replaced the H1 with an image tag, and it now loads up the image that I created using the site Banner Fans free site. And once you've got this done, make sure that you get the index of your page, which is this one right here. Copy it, and in your assignment, go to click on the assignment itself, and scroll down to find submission, write a submission, and paste using Control V. I'm going to remove formatting, and I just have my web page here. It's https:/ the username.github.io. Notice how the index.html is not here, and that's because just your domain will load up the page. Index is the name of the file that is naturally open whenever you visit a directory. And then that should be it. Just click submit, and I'll see you in the next lesson.